the match that got everybody talking, easily probably the most controversial finish on the WrestleMania card, Triple H versus Sting. A lot of mixed bag thoughts in this, either really, really good or really, really bad. I haven't really seen anything in between. And we do have some on the show. RJ, you did not like it. John, whereas you did. I can't even say I fell in between. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But RJ, I will kick off with you. What were your thoughts on the match itself, the involvement of DX, NWO, Attitude Era 15 years later, kind of wrapping up the Monday Night Wars? What was going through your mind?
So, going into this match, I knew it was going to be a good... I didn't expect it to be a good wrestling match. Triple H has showed over the years he can still work good. Sting, on the other hand, TNA days were pretty bad at the end, so... I thought at first it was... it wasn't the match that really got me off. I was like, okay, this is exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be like slow-paced, couple headlocks, submission kind of like stuff like I'd expect, and then out of nowhere comes freaking Billy Gunn and all that. I'm like,
break it down, nigga.
I'm like, what the fuck's going on right now?
Yeah.
Pardon my language. I was like, what's going on right now? Then he like gets hit by Sting. I'm like, so is it disqualification? Then no disqualification. So I'm like, then why aren't they in the ring like attacking Sting? Like, this makes no sense. And then like NWO comes out. I'm like, all right, they're gonna fight. Then out of nowhere, Shawn Michaels like sweet chin music Sting, and like the referee's confused. And then like Triple H in the bat, and then like Sledgehammer, and then the Sledgehammer breaks, and like I was like, what the hell? This is like all over the place. And then eventually like Triple H wins, and they do like the whole NWO and like DX shake hands, stuff like that. I just think I was thrown off by the DQ. The legit match wasn't any good at all. The moments they were there, but it just seemed so like it seemed like since the match wasn't going that well, they just like toss him out the thing, get the crowd going again. Because like we were even saying when you were watching it, Sting put him in the Scorpion Death Drop, and he wasn't even sitting down in the move. He was standing up. He like almost fell over. It was a disaster, but like in ring standpoint. But like I said, the moments are good. I just think when you want to do like, and especially like last week, Sting said it's not about WWE, but then they do WWE at WrestleMania, and then I think it's stupid how they have Sting, who was like the top of WWE, but then it's Triple H, who like in the Attitude Era was like third or fourth best in WWE. It should have been like Rock or Stone Cold, Undertaker. I think Undertaker, obviously people would have said that should have been happened before, but and it just seems like they try to like redo their wrongs for the Invasion. Like the Invasion was supposed to be like the big storyline. It kind of failed because they didn't have like the Stings and the Hogans and the Nashes and the Halls right at that because they were still in WCW, or like they didn't come out right away. So I think they kind of like took the Invasion, just waited 15 years, just like to remash it up. I guess like this whole like year they did like the whole Monday Night War thing on WWE Network. I thought it was a good series. They kind of repeated themselves 100 million times, but that's another rant for another day. But I guess the WCW WWE rivalry is hopefully done now. It should be done now. They made amends. Hopefully Vince doesn't get another crazy idea. I just think the whole match was... I don't think the match in ring was good. And the moments were good for what it was. It just made no sense.
Well, like you said, I wasn't expecting an in-ring classic going in.
I think it was worse than my in-ring wrestling thoughts were going to be on it, though, too.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to dissect here. We had the entrances, too, which I thought were good. But
the entrances were... I think Triple H is really good. Sting's was kind of... Yeah.
A little random. It was
Triple H is really good,
The Terminator thing I thought was cool. I didn't mind that at all. But before I give my thoughts...
Right now.
John, before I give my thoughts, John, I'll allow you to rebut.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, RJ, I just have to say... That was the beauty of the match, and that it was so chaotic. All right, with DX running in, with the NWO running in, that was the beauty of the whole affair. I'll agree with you in the fact that they never once announced that this was going to be a no disqualification matchup, so that was a tad confusing. But, I mean, it was just all the involvements and all the returns. I mean, no one expected any of that. So just to see that was so mind-boggling. And like you said, Sting on Raw said this wasn't about WCW. This wasn't about WWE. This is about Sting wanting to take down Triple H. And that's great. But if you follow that storyline, do you know what you get? You get a 25-minute ho-hum match between the 56-year-old Sting and the mid 40s Triple H. I mean, if I just saw a match between those two guys for 25 minutes that ended with Triple H winning clean, no outside involvement, no sledgehammer, no bat, I would have a lot more criticisms of this WrestleMania. But, I mean, the fact that they brought out NWO, they brought out DX, I mean, they gave it more dynamics. They gave it more layers. The fact that it's just a wrestling match that wouldn't have been greatly wrestled anyway. Like you said, the in-ring action wasn't great, but I never expected a 5-star affair from these guys. I always knew that, well, Sting is way past his prime. Triple H is getting there. So this match was supposed to be more about the storytelling. All right, when two guys can't really go anymore, for example, Undertaker when he faced Bray Wyatt, that match wasn't the match of the night, but it had great storytelling. Sting versus Triple H was supposed to be about the storytelling, and I'll rebut my statement that I made a couple weeks ago when I said this match shouldn't be about WCW versus WWE. It should be Sting wanting to take down Triple H. I'll rebut that statement because if that was the story they went to, the story they took into WrestleMania, I mean, we're just getting a ho-hum match for 25 minutes, and I think that would have spoiled the night more. But, I mean, when you have Hogan, Hall, and Nash coming down together for the first time since, Hogan's birthday party last summer, I mean, those guys don't get together often. So when they come down, all right, and then you get DX coming out, X-Pac, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, Shawn Michaels, Road Warrior, yeah. It makes a great moment. So, I mean, yeah, the match wasn't great. The moment wasn't the most logical. But, I mean, if you're going off logic in itself, there's so many illogical things with the WWE. The Rock assisting Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. When the last time the Rock and Roman Reigns were in the ring together, Roman Reigns was stomping The Rock in the corner. Like, where's the logic in that? Sure, there's no logic. I mean, the last time Sting and the NWO were together, Sting was trying to destroy the NWO. But, I mean, it was just about seeing those factions facing off. We never thought we'd see that. I mean, when we brought the NWO in 2002, 2003, DX was long gone, all right? And then when DX made their return subsequently, 2006, 2007, 2009, the NWO was nowhere in sight. They're all in TNA. So it was just a little a moment in time. So if your expectations were to supersede that, I mean, you were let down. I wasn't let down. I thought it was an amazing moment for what it was.
So like we were saying going in, I feel like I absolutely agree. I feel like the build should have been, Sting going after Triple H, but like you said, John, the match would have blown. I mean, it wouldn't have been good. But here's the thing, though, because I don't know. Me personally, I feel like the match before the interference was not that bad. From an in-ring standpoint, it wasn't that great. But the crowd ate it all up. I mean, based up, they're in the arena.
California crowd too for Sting though too.
True, yeah, and it's like his home state. But I mean, maybe people at home it's not the same because they're not there. I get that, and it's Sting's first match, so I felt the magic in that. But it's not like they were having a bad match and then they sent him out there. It was obviously planned from the beginning. But I don't know, it felt like a fun segment. That's why I enjoyed it. But if that's the case, then they shouldn't have made it as serious as they did, if that makes any sense, going into the show. Because I felt like we were going to get a brawl. We did in a way, but there was a lot of like ho-hum, like gimmickry and stuff like that. And I like the way they ended up going with it, because like you guys said, without it, it would have been a lot worse. That match would not have been great. And Sting, actually, to his credit, looked better than he did in TNA. He wasn't wearing a shirt, God forbid, thankfully. That was not the case. The crowd ate it all up. And, this is a brief note, doesn't really matter. But technically, I know this is WWE, but technically the last time we saw Hogan and Sting together, they were in TNA and they were friends. But they never acknowledged TNA, so that doesn't really count. But, and then you get to the finish. So there was a lot going on. The no disqualification thing, I agree with. That was weird. RJ and I were talking beforehand. Not one mention on the pre-show, from what we heard anyway.
Supposedly on Wikipedia it says pinfall and submissions only match, but
they never said that on the road to WrestleMania, and they didn't say it on the kickoff show, from what we heard. So I don't know where the hell that came from. People in the arena were confused. I was confused.
I was wicked confused.
We were all confused.
I was like, oh, maybe they're just cheering him on or something. Then Billy Gunn's like on the apron getting hit. I'm like,
yeah,
what
it was
the?
like, it didn't really make much sense.
Then Shawn Michaels like kicked him. I'm like,
yeah, I'm like, it's gonna end in DQ, and Robinson didn't go for the bell. So it was very weird. But yeah, I felt like from an entertainment standpoint, I enjoyed it. So that's why I said that there's a lot of conflicting thoughts in this, whether it was really, really good or really, really bad. Not really much in between. But then we get to the finish, and I don't know why, but I'm not furious over this like a lot of people are, which is fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I don't know. I'm not as angry as maybe I should be. I'm not exactly sure. But Triple H ended up going over, beating Sting in his first match. Not clean, after a few pedigrees and the sledgehammer to the face.
Sweet chin music.
Sweet chin music. And after all these finishers, he gets pinned. 1, 2, 3. Triple H wins. And then they make up afterwards, which a lot of people weren't happy with. So we'll dissect that real quick. RJ, what were your thoughts on the finish of Triple H going over, which you correctly predicted, and the handshake afterward?
I just predicted Triple H to win. It was very bold in my thinking. I just thought, like, Triple H didn't get over on Sting, and I thought, you know, why not have Triple H go over? I think the finish was, like I said, I think the story that they were telling was WCW, but then, like, Triple H kind of needed, like, Shawn Michaels to help him. I don't know, like, he needed the sledgehammer to help him, and needed Shawn Michaels to kick him, I think, like, I think the finish would have been better. Like, I'm not pissed that Sting lost, because I picked Triple H to win anyways. But I think, I think he used the sledgehammer at the end to win, right? I think he used, like, the broken sledgehammer.
Yep.
And then I just think, like, even though, like, NWO came out, I feel like DX, like, actually helped Triple H, and NWO didn't really help Sting. So it's kind of weird, I think, like, actually in the ring standpoint, they didn't help him. Like I said, I'm not furious that Sting didn't win, because I didn't pick him to win. But I remember, like, Arden and Mike were saying last week, like, if Sting lost and Triple H, or one of them lost, or both of them lose, him and Undertaker, like, they didn't want to see, like, Sting and Undertaker 32, I think.
Well, Undertaker won.
Undertaker won, but if it goes from Sting here, it's wherever it goes. I'm not, like I said, I think if the moment's right, bring him out, but like I said, the match wasn't good, so I think maybe they'll make decision off that, but I'm not mad Triple H won, and I think the finish was what it was.